Okay, so today I'm going to talk about persuasive texts in science, and I have a particular method for planning persuasive texts which involves folding a piece of paper. So as you can see, I'm folding it so that there are 2/4 on top and 1/2 underneath. So it kind of opens up like a wardrobe or something like that. So the way we plan these, the top section is going to be what you probably think of as the introduction. The middle section is going to be the body of the essay, and the bottom section is going to be the conclusion. So another way of thinking about the introduction is to call it the statement of position or the thesis. You'll see those two terms used sometimes, and they basically just mean the same as introduction. The point of the statement of the position is, if you read that section, that paragraph, it describes what the essay is saying. A good thing to start with for a statement of position is a definition. You're always going to be talking about a particular idea or topic. If you define it very clearly, then that lends strength to your argument. And then within that, so that's your first sentence. Your second sentence is some micro-statements about that idea. So some situations where it's useful, or some situations where it's already occurred, or depends obviously what your topic is as to what that would be. Then a global statement, so a global sentence, something that's really large that kind of links it all together. And your final sentence is a linking sentence that leads into the body of the essay. Those are optional. They do tend to sort of add strength to the essay, but they're not required strictly. For the body of the essay, we're going to, in this case, I'm planning on with 3 sentences, so this will be a fairly short essay. The thing to start with is that whatever noun you're talking about goes first. Obviously, this is just the rough draft. You change things up as you went along, but a good way to start is to make sure that you're always talking about the topic first. So we have the idea of a topic sentence. It's important that your middle sentences, so your explanatory sentences and your expanding sentences, use sources to back up what you're saying. And those sources need to be referenced appropriately, of course. And so you're just, for each of these paragraphs, you're going to have a different topic sentence and different expanding and evidential sentences to back them up, and you're just going to do that for the whole body, however many ideas you need to fill up your word count. And then you finish with your conclusion, or your restatement of position. So the thing about a restatement of position is, again, it pretty much says what your introduction says, but because the person who's reading it has read the body of the essay, they've actually got a stronger idea now of what you mean. To use the highest modality language in your restatement of position, you have to talk about it from a perspective of must and firmly believe and strongly believe. And it draws the conclusion from the body of the text. So if the body of the text strongly suggests that cloning humans is a bad idea, then your conclusion is cloning humans is a bad idea because... Okay, so I'm going to do a sample essay. And my sample essay is just going to be on a random topic, not relevant to science at all really, about smartphone use by teenagers. So the question goes at the top, should students have access to smartphones? Like before, we're going to start with a definition. So we're going to define what a smartphone is. So a smartphone is an electronic device that's pocket-sized, that's capable of many different functions. That was the definition sentence. The second sentence is some micro-statements. So smartphones are useful because blah blah blah. You need a global sentence, or you don't need one, but this method suggests that you use one. So in our case, they're used all over the world. Right, so that's our introduction, our statement of position. In our body, again, we're going to have 3 paragraphs. So smartphones, that's the noun that we're talking about, that's what we're going to focus on. So smartphones are very useful in emergency situations, such as blah 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 blah. So again, you start with a high-level topic sentence. So they're very useful in emergency situations as they explain that, and then you give an example perhaps of where they've been useful. Again, this is a good point to put in references. You need to reference any idea that you're using from anywhere else, any external source. Our second paragraph, smartphones can give students practice in the real world situations such as budgeting, managing money, whatever. And again, so that's your topic sentence, and then you back it up, you provide evidence. And third one, smartphones do not significantly contribute to negative behaviours. And this is a good point to put in some expert testimony, so you can say Brown 2017 states that, whatever. And so we finish with the conclusion or the restatement of position. So again, we're going to lead with our noun in question. Smartphones are an essential tool in the modern world. And again, we're using high modality in our restatement of position. So we're being as forceful as we can with our language. So denying a child their rightful access implies that it's really strongly theirs to have. And again, things like greatly limits. So greatly limits is a very formal way of, and a high level way of saying, greatly limiting their opportunities makes life worse for them. But we can say it as formally and as forcefully as we can. The other thing that you can get away with in your conclusion or your restatement of position is you can use I statements. So, for example, I firmly believe that students should have access to smartphones. It probably goes without saying, but just to finish, to remind you that this is a plan for an essay. This is not the essay itself. This is the first planning stage. Then go away and you elaborate on all of these things and you make it more formal and you polish it as best you can.